Hi everyone, we are from Group 5. This is the Diversity, Inclusion, U ASEAN 2020 project presentation. Before we begin, let me introduce you to our group members. From Multimedia University, we have Niklaus and Kai Boon. From Universitas Muhammadiyah Kudus Jawa Tengah, we have Tiffany and Taurik. From Temasek Polytechnic, we have Dahi and myself, Ernest.
Good day everyone, my name is Nicholas and today I will be presenting about the introduction and the challenge for Malaysia. Now, socioeconomics. Socioeconomics is a branch of economics and focuses on the relationship between social behavior and economics. We will be presenting on three issues, which is income inequality in Malaysia, education in Indonesia, and healthcare in Singapore. Now the challenge that's being faced by Malaysia is income inequality. In Malaysia, we are divided into three social classes, which is the top 20, the middle 40, and the bottom 40, which is short formed into T20, M40, and B40. Now, as you can see from the table above here, you are able to see the median and the range of income that is being brought in by all the three classes. Now, these numbers are not fixed, as these numbers are determined by the country's yearly GDP. So the question is why? Why does inequality of income happen here in Malaysia? And one of the reasons is that wage growth is not consistent with the economy's growth.
The current solution that has been taken by the Malaysia government to reduce the income inequality is increased level of education among Malaysians. For example, education receives 1/5 of budget allocation every year. In fact, since 2009, there are total 44 billion ringgit of scholarship has been given by the government to the student to pursue their degree, master or PhD. Besides, the Malaysia Education Blueprint 2012 until 2025 also aim to raise the literacy and numeracy skills of students, increase school enrollment in primary school and secondary school, and also reduce urban-rural gap. The further solution that Malaysia can do to reduce the income inequality is to increase the taxes for top income brackets. As we know, the tax rate for top income bracket in Malaysia is 30%. It is a bit lower if we compare to other ASEAN countries such as Korea, which is 42%, or Thailand, which is 35%. By increasing the rate, it could reduce the income inequality, as the government can use this money to help other people like students, B40, M40 in providing financial assistance.
Socio-economic difference and education. In Indonesia, socio-economic differences have a huge effect on education. Example is the problem of unequal distribution of facilities across regions in Indonesia. Usually, small cities tend to have less school facilities, so the learning process will be difficult to adjust to the applicable curriculum. Lack school facilities can affect the quality of the teachers in teaching and prevent students from getting their rights as citizens. As written in 1945 Constitution, Article 31, Paragraph 1, every citizen has the right to get an education, and 1945 Constitution, Article 31, Paragraph 2, every citizen is obligated to attend basic education and the government is obligated to finance it. Currently, Indonesia has an education funding program called Dana BOS. BOS, or School Operational Assistance, is educational assistance in the form of funds provided to school for non-personal purpose. Usually, schools will submit requests for Dana BOS assistance after obtaining an agreement from the school committee, the school BOS management team, and the teacher council. The result of the agreement will be written into the minutes of the meeting and must be signed by the meeting participant. BOS funds are usually given in the form of money and will be used to improve school performance, one of which is by repairing, updating, and adding school facilities to improve the quality of learning.
Government solution, further solution. Kartu Indonesia Pintar or Indonesian Smart Card is intended for school age children 6 till 21 years old. to provide optimal educational benefit. This program was inaugurated in 2015. This program is aimed at students who are least fortunate in paying school fees. Each level of basic education has a different amount of funding. The first, elementary school, or package A, student receive IDR 450,000 per year. The second, junior high school, or package B, student receive IDR 750 per year. The third, senior high school, or package C, student get IDR 1,000 per year. In 2021, Jokowi plans to increase the number of beneficiaries of this program. Additional solution: lack of school facility is usually caused by the slow performance of the government, or the school environment is not supportive of the use of this facility. For example, there are still many areas in Indonesia they do not have sufficient electrical power. For that, in our opinion, teachers must be given special training where they are taught to make substitute learning media. Also, the learning media that are not will not be as good as the facility. They should be not, as long as the learning media can help the learning process if is worth a try.
Now we will talk about Singapore. Singapore is an aging society. It is estimated that by 2030, 1 in 4 Singaporeans will be above 65. As the elderly are vulnerable, we spend more money on healthcare to serve our community. However, the rising demand for healthcare means that there is an inevitable increase in its cost. Here is where the distinction of our socio-economic status, also known as SES, comes in. People with high SES can easily afford to spend their money on healthcare. On the other hand, those with low SES faces difficulties due to the rising cost of medical fees. This is evident as some of us refuse to pay a visit to the doctor or dentist because it is an enormous financial burden. Consequently, this hinders our health as our underlying conditions worsen. Now, we will talk about the current solutions in Singapore. Firstly, MediShield Life, which is introduced by the government, helps us to pay a large hospital bills and selected costly outpatient treatments in public hospitals. Secondly, MediSave is a national medical savings scheme that helps individuals to put aside part of their income into an account that grows with interest. It can be used to pay for personal or family hospitalizations throughout their lifetime. Lastly, CHAS enables all Singapore citizens to receive subsidies for medical care. Subsidies can go as high as $260 per clinical visit. Now I shall pass the time to Ernest.
One additional solution we can take is to educate students from young. Currently, the topic on government finance approach of healthcare is taught in the social studies curriculum for upper secondary students as a graded subject. However, it should be prevalent for students to have a rough idea about the schemes present for us at a younger age. A brief introduction will be sufficient for us to grasp the concept that we should not compromise our health to save money. It will also be a good practice for students to bring this knowledge back home to share with our parents. Diversity, though prominent, is often misunderstood and unappreciated. To work towards a cohesive society, we can utilize the mind to create mutual understanding. However, it will be more meaningful if we come together and celebrate diversity. The first step is highlighting similarities and making the effort to speak to one another. This might sound simple, but we always forget that it takes two hands to reach out to someone who is falling. We must always stay open-minded in order to work towards an inclusive society. Even if it doesn't work out both ways, we need to stay optimistic. And this begins with us.